Namaskar, viewers. I, Dr. Renu Tomar, welcome you to the lectures we have been holding on CEC Gurukul regarding NEP 2020. Viewers, just to recall the few lectures which we have taken in the series of NEP 2020, we have discussed NEP 2020 in great detail. We have discussed school education, we have discussed higher education also. Today we shall be discussing NEP 2020 which deals with professional education. So viewers, let's try to recall what we have discussed in our previous lectures. Friends, we talked about that what kind of modifications are expected in school education. Similarly, we also talked about what kind of modifications are expected in higher education. So, what kind of modifications NEP 2020 has recommended in professional education and what kind of suggestions the experts have given in NEP 2020 regarding the other key areas like encouraging students for the cultural values, for professional educations, for vocational education. Apart from that, how they have recommended that NEP 2020 shall be recommended. These core areas we shall be discussing in today's lecture. So friends, to begin with, when we talk about professional education, presently how the professional education is being viewed. Professional education is presently being viewed as a specific and a very super specialized system. NEP 2020 want to degenerate this particular system. It has recommended that professional education or general education should evolve together into institutions oblique clusters by 2030. That means that demarking line which is presently existing in higher education as professional education or healthcare education or legal education or teacher education, that we have to get rid of. As to get rid of, the agenda of all higher education institutions should be to evolve into clusters organically, keeping all kind of specialized areas together in a clustered form. So this is one of an aim which has been specified in NEP 2020. Apart from that, another core area which is very relevant, particularly in the context of India, because here we have agriculturists who comprise maximum population. Agriculture education, despite the fact that 9% agriculture universities we have, the enrollment in those universities is less than 1%. This itself states that agriculture as a discipline is not taken very seriously in academic world or professional world or from the students' point of view. That also kind of reflection on the fact that the education is not important for the students as well as the farmers. That is why that can only explain why we have less than 1% enrollment. Otherwise, there cannot be any other rationale for that. So, how to take care of it? NEP 2020 has suggested that in agriculture also we should be concerned about building market based research, developing market based research, providing innovative research, providing education regarding the technicians. So, the agenda of agriculture education should also be to produce skilled graduate and postgraduate who should be well informed as to apply their knowledge and information in the market. For this, NEP 2020 has also suggested about setting up agricultural technology park, so that agriculture is brought near to technology, and that way agriculture can also become more productive, and agriculture education specifically can also play an important role which it is expected to. Another important core area which has not been taken care of in the past is legal education. Presently, the two major problems we have with the legal education. One, it is not globally competitive. Secondly, it is not near to the stakeholders for which the legal education is being given to the students. That means the lawyers and judges who are to perform, who are to work for the community, for the people, they are not trained or educated even in the language of the state in which they are posted. So, this is one of a lacuna which has been identified in NEP 2020 and also addressed by stating that the legal education should be transformed in such a manner that future lawyers and judges shall be taught not only in English, but also in the language of the state in which a institution is situated. And apart from that, the legal education should aim at developing globally competitive lawyers and judges who can adopt best practices, who can embrace new technology. Because friends, it should not be a lie, and it's factual as well, that in the developed countries most of the lawyers are thrown out of the job. Reason is that technology has provided the window to the clients in such a manner that they can have the legal help with the help of technology from the legal people who are working from their home. So, this is something we should also keep in our mind whenever we talk about our legal education, that legal education should adopt the best technological practices and should also help them to embrace the changes, the forthcoming changes which are going to be there in the future world, so that our lawyers are also globally competitive. For this, education structure and design of the educational program will need to be changed, so that the role requirement will be done accordingly. Another important area which has been attended by NEP 2020 is healthcare. For the healthcare, there are two suggestions which have been given by NEP 2021, that healthcare education system should be working in an integrative manner. That means it should be addressing the pluralistic choices in healthcare. Pluralistic choices mean the person who is going for allopathy can also like to go for Ayurveda or homeopathy. So, the medical system should not have the demarking line which exists presently, as a doctor from an Ayush is not having knowledge of allopathy. Similarly, a doctor who is homeopathy is not having information about the allopathy, and vice versa. So, this is something which has been addressed, that healthcare should be developed in a pluralistic manner. Secondly, their preventive healthcare and the community medicine needs to be addressed. In fact, the COVID-19, the present scenario, the situation, this pandemic has made us realize that community medicine and preventive healthcare is of high importance. Addressing the health issues is important, but preventive healthcare is much more important than addressing the health issues. So, this is also an area which has been addressed in NEP 2020 for the benefit of the students and community at large, because if the students are taught as far as taking care of community medicine and the preventive health care, they will be able to address those issues in the community, in the society in a better manner, and there would be healthy society. If there is healthy society, that means there will be lesser diseased people. So, this is also one of an agenda which has been catered to in NEP 2020. Another part of professional education which is most important because it is industrial oriented is engineering, technology, management, architecture, town planning, pharmacy, hotel management, catering technology. These are the core areas which are keeping the economy of the country going, because they are correlated to the industry and they work in very close collaboration with industry. They require more innovation and research from that perspective. This is the suggestion of NEP 2020, that we need to innovate more in these areas so that the industrial linkage can be addressed more profoundly in comparison to how it is being done. Another core area which has been addressed in NEP 2020 is the adult education. How to take care of adult education. As far as taking care of adult education is concerned, an important thing has been underlined, that we have to understand that there is strong correlation between literacy rate and per capita GDP. This has also been underlined that the community at large needs to realize the disadvantages which are interrelated or linked to illiteracy. Those disadvantages need to be understood by the adults who are to be educated. They have to understand that what kind of disadvantages do they have due to lesser education. How would they understand? They would understand one thing by introducing the curriculum which will manifest the strength in them when they will be working in day-to-day life. Another important thing is that community should be involved, there should be more volunteerism, there should be more resource person involved informally along with the formal setup, so that it is worked, the adult education is worked on a war footing basis. So, just the government initiative are not in themselves, they cannot be termed as satisfying. They are needed, but community participation is needed more. Mobilization of educated resource person is required more. How can we do that? By maintaining data. Second, by coordinating those people, by those people having an access to adult education centers data, so that they can ensure participation of non-enrolled students. If they will have data, the social worker and counselors will have data regarding the students who are not enrolled, they would be able to identify and go back to the community and accordingly motivate those students to get themselves enrolled in adult education centers. Another important aspect when we talk about adult education is the infrastructure. It has been underlined that for infrastructure we should be utilizing the school complexes after school hours or on weekends, as well as the public library spaces, so that the infrastructure is also available and it is being used in multiples. It is not just being used for the regular schooling, but it is also being used for educating those who need to be educated, but have not been lucky enough to get a chance to go to school, that is our adults. Another important aspect is that we have to work upon our resources. Which resources? The information resources. Technology has made it very easy to make the academic resources, the information resources, the library resources available to the participant. This should be utilized in the proper manner as well as to the maximum usage, so that the students, and that is the adults who are there enrolled with the adult education centers, they can have more information, and in their free time, when they have access to that information, they can educate themselves. For this, NCERT has been given the responsibility of developing the curriculum. The curriculum shall have the following core area. One is foundational literacy and numeracy. Another important core area which the curriculum should manifest is critical life skill. Critical life skill, friend, will not only be defining numeracy, or the, as we usually used to say, that they should be literate to such a manner that they can understand basic language, basics of mathematics. This is not now the aim of NEP 2020. In fact, it wants that the adult education should cater to critical life skills also, because the world is changing. Apart from financial literacy, apart from health care and awareness, apart from child care and education, family welfare, information regarding digital literacy should also be given to them, so that they can use digital platforms which they have available in the form of phones with them. They can use that to get access to more information and more knowledge. Apart from that, vocational skill development should be at the center, so that when an adult is coming to adult center, he or she should be able to upgrade oneself. If the person is able to upgrade oneself, then naturally the person will be more satisfied and having more information and more knowledge, and that would also increase his finances, that will also increase his earning capacity. So, vocational skill development is also at the center of education curriculum framework to be developed by NCERT. Another important core area when we talk about adult education is that how it is to be linked with the school education. So, when we talk about school education, the basic education, that is preparatory, middle and secondary stage, and that has to be interrelated to the continuing education. That means continuing education means it should be, the adult education should be holistic, and it should be correlated with the regular framework as well, so that the person who is getting educated either in the formal setup, that is the regular schools, or in the informal setup, the person should be having access to art, science, technology, culture, sports, recreation in the same manner, and it can be used by the local learners, as well as they can have access to more advanced materials on critical life skills. So, this is one of the agenda when of NEP 2020, which has been taken up as a suggestion for NCERT for developing their curriculum framework for adult education. That means, adult education curriculum framework by NCERT should have these core areas at the center. Another important thing which all of us should be knowing is that we have to cater to cultural education. How to be centered at cultural education, how to make our students understand what is India's cultural wealth and how languages in India spoken are important. For this, education sector should be correlated with tourism. Tourism has given the slogan Incredible India. In Incredible India, they have cited certain cities or certain places which are of core importance from the cultural point of view, from the historical point of view, from the architectural point of view. There are 100 tourism destinations which are important, which have been underlined by the tourism ministry, which are also important for the preservation and promotion of India's cultural wealth and having our national identity, and of course for the economic perspective also, because if those destinations are visited by the tourist, that also means that we shall be having more wealth. So, from the perspective of economy, from the perspective of national identity, from the perspective of cultural wealth, these core areas have been identified. These core areas should be linked with the school's education in such a manner that the school students should be visiting those areas. And when the school students will be visiting, they will be not only learning how rich our culture has been, how good architecture values or architects we had in the past. Apart from that, learning that what were the understanding of the people in the past who have worked upon those buildings, they would be understanding our cultural values, our the historical importance of those places, and apart from that, they would also be communicating with the local people. Then naturally the Indian languages, they would also understand the value of other Indian languages apart from the language which they speak, or English and Hindi. Another important aspect for encouraging cultural education is that natives' perception regarding the language which they speak has to be changed. That means the natives should be proud of the language which they are speaking, and the culture should be expressed in different ways, not just only in the form of literature, but also in the form of plays, in the form of music, in the form of film. So, this way we shall be motivating our generations, the young generations, for learning their culture as well as understanding the literature, the cultural value, the art which India had in the history. In fact, when we talk about Indian languages, UNESCO has declared 197 Indian languages as endangered. So, if 197 Indian languages are endangered in India, this is something which we need to, it's a kind of a wake up call for all of us. So, it is very important that we shall be realizing that we should wake up to the fact that these languages should not die, because if the languages die, with them certain cultural values also die, certain history also die. So, these languages need to be again introduced, tribal language needs to be introduced, the tribal value need to be manifested more through our curriculum, through our university, in such a manner that the diversity of India comes together as Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. So, the policy has recognized that knowledge of the rich diversity of India should be expressed as Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat through tourism, through motivating the students to take up languages which are at the verge of, which are endangered, which are verge of dying. So, apart from that, the NEP has also suggested that the educational institutions should not just encompass the cultural values, the languages in themselves, but also become practical oriented by utilizing various art forms to motivate students as to study those languages. In fact, it has also been proposed that IITI, that is Indian Institute of Translation and Interpretation, shall be established, so that the languages which are at the verge of dying, they can be translated and interpreted and can be available to the future generation. Another language which is very important and which has been focused in NEP 2020 is Sanskrit. Sanskrit Pathshala universities needs to be introduced, and Sanskrit should be mainstreamed with other languages which are offered in the school. In fact, the Sanskrit has been proposed to become part of the 3-language formula, which is presently as well. So, this should be continued and it should be taken up in higher education also. This is something which has been proposed by NEP 2020. The institutes and universities needs to expand themselves when it comes to the classical languages and literature, with strong efforts to collect, preserve, translate and study those thousands of manuscripts which have not received their due attention. So, this is also one of a suggestion of NEP 2020. For this, the new kind of institutions and universities may need to come up, or the existing universities which are of the purer side, they need to transform themselves into such a manner that they can encompass or they can cover such kind of core areas also. So, friends, with this friends, I take your leave. I shall join you again as to cover the other dimensions of other key areas of NEP 2020. Namaskar.